Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Pistol Creek Range. Today we're going to be testing 5 different pistols and we're going to find out which one I perform the best with using range intel. Let's get started. So we're going to be performing 3 different drills and we're going to be standing at a distance of 5 yards. That's 3 drills per firearm, 5 times each. We're going to start with the 2-2-2 drill. And then we're going to do the bill drill. And finally, the Mozambique drill. We're going to take the data from the targets and we're going to calculate the hit factors using range intel at rangeintel.com. We're going to put that in our hit factor data sheet and then we're going to take those data sheets home and actually create a report comparing the different firearms. Now let's take a look at some of the actual footage of shooting the firearms. .222 drill, Glock 43X. Number 1. X-rays. So what gun did the best? Let's cut straight to the chase, and I'll show you the chart right now. The one that ended up doing the best was actually the Glock 19. And it was pretty surprising at the end of doing all these tests, finding out that just your standard Glock, for me personally, actually came out on top. You know, I've owned the P10 C for quite some time now, and I put a lot of rounds through it, and you could arguably say that it has the better trigger, and that it feels better in some senses. But you know, there's a lot of variables at play here, and at the end of the day, the Glock 19 did just come out on top. If you want to know why I think that may have happened, check out this video that's linked in the description down below, covering the Glock 19 versus the Ruger RXM, because I did compare those two as well. That data is also in this video. Do keep in mind that the P10 C and the Ruger RXM, for me personally, were really close together. That is something you want to see with these. I mean, if you just think through this logically, if you're using different firearms, you would hope that your skill level and the scores that you're getting from each firearm are really close together. If there's big differences, then that highlights the areas that you need to train on, or maybe you need to look at what kind of sight you're using or the red dot. For example, look at the performance from the Glock 43X compared to the Glock 19. Now, a lot of people may not think it's a big deal at first glance, but let's remove some of these firearms from the list for a second. Right, so let's keep the Glock 19 and the Glock 43X. So if we want to show all entries, we can just go over here, show 100. Let's remove all of the CZ, all of the Canik tests. Oops, we want to keep that one. Let's remove Ruger. And we'll keep the Glock 19 and the Glock 43X tests. And for those of you that don't know what's happening here, is each one of these entries is actually a test, right? And you can come here and you can click on manage the entry, and you can look at all the hit factors, the different scores you got for this specific entry, and it actually calculates the average hit factor for all the tests, okay, that you add here, because you can add a lot of different hit factors right here per firearm, per test in the intel list. So essentially what we're looking at are the average hit factors per firearm, and on average over all the tests, the Glock came out on top. Glock 19 came out on top over the Glock 43X, obviously. What you really need to look at is the the firearm comparison, percent improvement, and percent drop charts. These are really important. So if you scroll down and you check out these charts, you're gonna see that if you were using the Glock 43X and you switch to the Glock 19, you would actually have a 34.44% performance improvement. Well, I mean, me, not you. Your results are going to be different. I don't know what kind of setup you have going on. I don't know what kind of training you've done. For me, what this is highlighting is that my skills and ability with the Glock 43X is significantly lower than with the Glock 19. So already, what this has told me is there's no way at this point that I will actually want to carry a Glock 43X out in the real world. I want a larger sized pistol that I can conceal carry. I'm going with the Glock 19. I've never personally been a fan of these super tiny pistols, but they're really popular and a lot of you guys are using them. So if you haven't done a test like this, maybe you should just look into it, go to the range, do it yourself, and figure out if there is a significant difference in your ability with one pistol versus the other. Let's be honest, most people, they get a pistol, they go to the range, they shoot a few steel targets or, you know, maybe paper or whatever outdoors, and as long as they're hitting the target and hitting bullseye, they think they're good to go. But since they have no standard and no test that they're using while actually at the range and training, they have no way to track, no metric to track their progress or their skill or abilities. So if you actually do take the time to do a couple tests, it's really not hard, it doesn't take that long. But if you actually do that, look at this kind of information that you can get. For example, you know, switching from the Glock 43X to a Glock 19, I know for sure I'm gonna have a 34% performance improvement. That's pretty crazy to me. So I think that's pretty interesting. But anyways, if you're interested in knowing more about like why one gun came out on top over the other, I'll link the videos down below of the Glock 43X versus like the Canik TP9 SC and the Glock 19 versus the Ruger RXM. But yeah, in terms of which one felt the best for me overall, I mean, the Ruger feels pretty good. It's a good gun. I love that gun, by the way. The Canik TP9 SC definitely has one of the best triggers. It's better than the Glock 43X in terms of the trigger. The Glock 43X actually feels good, but I just wasn't able to shoot as well with it. I don't know if it was the sights or I just haven't practiced with it enough. But that's all this really is. It's kind of letting me know personally what I need to work on, what I need to look at. Really tracking your data actually makes a big difference. And you might be really surprised what you find. You don't have to just use pistols. You can use anything. You can use rifles or whatever. So we're going to be doing a lot more, obviously. Hope you guys found that informative, and we'll catch you soon. Have a great day. Bye.